letter or report to the Rules Committee. Rich?
This is your item, Rich.
This is your item.
I think I missed a meeting and I missed the whole thing about the independent auditor issue. You guys discussed that at the last meeting?
Well, the last meeting, I came in and said that we were going to be meeting with Sharon. So Lee and I were going to be meeting with Sharon to try to deal with the independent auditor issue. So you guys understand what ended up happening in that meeting was that the three of us agreed that it would be fine, but then the reality was the budget office was like, but what are they auditing? Why are we paying somebody if they can't actually audit the books because of the way this is structured? So it's still sort of up in the air because we have the same underlying problem, which is that this is going into the general fund. There is no special fund. Nobody can therefore track where that money went to after it came into the city. And you guys are right. It's a part of the ordinance. It's built into the language that requires that there should be an independent audit every year. That's probably something someone's going to have to clean up in the ordinance itself.
Okay. The reason I asked that question is because out in District 10 at the community meetings, getting questions and information asked back, and it's frustrating when there's no answers to give. There's no answers to give, and then you have the residents who are getting and they're getting quite angry, and I think I just needed to kind of get a better feeling because a lot of some information coming back is that the independent auditor or this committee was put on the ballot just to get the measure to pass, and I know that's something big to throw out here. But it's something that out in District 10 there's a lot of feelings about this, and so it's hard for me to sit on this committee after so many months and to realize it's great that Sharon came to this meeting and a lot of good information was shared, but I really don't know where to go from here representing District 10 on this committee. Because I remember back at the very first time at the commission we talked about, I believe Lee came out and it was like, okay, I just need you guys to sign off on this matrix and then you guys are done. And then I think we all balked at that. And so then they came back again and it was like, okay, well, let's change it up. You guys will do this now. And then we were like, okay, well, we want some information. And then we would get some information coming back, and we'd be like, okay, well, we need to talk to people. You can't talk to anybody. And so just the cycle as we talked about tonight. And I think in my response about going to the rules, or even to the letter to the mayor, I think that there's just the amount of distrust that the community already has. And I think being on this committee, it's been proven. Everything that if residents were sitting in this room, they would be going, well, this justifies everything that we, all their reasoning. And that's why I've abstained in the letter on the vote, because I really think that everything needs to go out on the table now. We're supposed to report back to the neighborhoods, and we haven't done anything. There's no action coming back. I have no idea what Sharon's going to be able to actually get because that trust is gone. And I feel like I needed to throw this information out to you guys and to go from there. I realize we're not taking a vote on this at all, but I think this committee is going to struggle and unless we make our voice heard and heard powerfully. And we haven't, because we're all representing our districts, and I think they'd be really frustrated, and they'd be looking to us for leadership. And,
Can I add a little log to your fire down there, Rich? There's been discussion about throwing an infrastructure bond on November ballot. The city's infrastructure has had it, and they need enough money and when they go to the voters for a bond, to vote that in. And I think that we have a little bit of a control here by saying, okay, the last time you said, trust me, you didn't deliver. how do we change that this time around? So can we use that need for future trust? I think the word you have is perfect for that.
Yep.
How do we leverage that into making them do what we need on this committee and what is needed by the voters?
And that's, thank you, Pete, and that's one of the reasons it wasn't even so much as far as sending a letter to the Rules Committee. And the reason I brought them up is because I know we would have an audience right off the bat, and it would be, I forgot who's on it, but you'd have the council, the mayor right there, and I believe the city manager attends that meeting. Vice mayor, I mean, everybody's right there.
District 1.
And so if we actually
District 6.
were able to like show up,
Rocha,
And-
yeah, and Chimus, and,
Roach is not on it anymore.
but I'm just saying, because I made a transcript of that meeting.
It's District 10, District
Zolma
5,
was
District
there.
6,
And,
District 1, and, yeah, that's District 6.
Chimus.
5, 6,
because all of
10,
them
1,
are
and
just
the
as
mayor.
accountable.
I like that idea
As
of
we are.
some teeth, because we keep saying, you know, we need to be a little bit more assertive.
We'll keep getting pushed off a month, and then a month, and then a month, and then a month.
And I feel like it's, if they know up front, and we're, Gary shows up and we're there, and they hear from us, I mean, they're not gonna have anywhere to go. I mean, they're gonna be like, okay, well, these guys came straight to us. They told us all their issues are valid,
Are you talking as an agendized item or just as public comment, or how would you see that working?
At this point, public comment.
Would be good enough?
If we agendize it as a group to
I think
go.
you got a great idea.
You know,
What if we take that letter to the mayor and submit that at that point at a rules committee thing in May? They meet every week, and we just walk in there and public comment with our little letter that we've already approved. Do we have to have the commission, the full commission approve it, by the way?
You have to have a commission approve this.
Okay, then we'll
step,
have to
yeah.
get that.
And
can't
that would
get-
have to be agendized in May,
May,
because it's,
okay.
the agenda went out tonight for your meeting
Okay.
this week, next week.
Well, I like your idea a lot. How do we get some attention put on this by people who can make it happen? We need a whip crack. We need somebody to say, get off your butt and make this work. And that's the great way to do that. It's visible, it's public, it's not just a letter to Sam, which maybe gets shuffled away someplace or not. It's not a letter to Dave Sykes that gets shuffled away someplace. I'm very enthused that Sharon is here, but I think actually raising it in that forum is a great idea. I think it's an excellent idea. And we should also at that point bring in, what about next year? We've been struggling all year working on a year ago stuff. We don't even have a roadmap for the spending on it for this year with NBA 18. We don't have any of that stuff. If you're going to be serious about raising taxes and you want to do this infrastructure bond, that's one way to go at it, But if it's all just a bunch of showmanship and there's no real content behind this thing, well, maybe we ought to rethink approvals like this. I think it's a real good idea.
You have a comment?
No, I agree with Pete. I think we need to push it a little bit. I know my council member is aware of it. She's aware that we're not getting anywhere, and I told her about it. So I think that's one way of making our voices heard, is talk with our council member. Because I gave her a report of what the commission's been doing. And that, sitting on this committee, I gave her a report of what this committee was doing. So she's aware of it. And I think that's one way of bringing it to the mayor's attention, because the council members do talk to the mayor.
Yes, they do.
your council is Deb Davis?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is she on the rules committee?
Yes.
Oh, she is?
Yes,
Johnny and mine's on there.
and hers is
Chappie
on there.
Jones was, I don't know
So
if he still
have you
is.
talked to Johnny Camus?
I barely.
Pete,
Yeah.
I mean,
Is
not
Chappie still in there?
I believe so.
And
I'm
Sherry's on
trying to think of the chief of staff's name right now. I took a picture of him. Shane, do you talk to Shane?
Yeah, I can give it a shot.
Yeah, you communicate it to Shane and we'll get to Johnny.
So.
I'll talk to Don, Peter, through Peter.
Yeah.
I talked to Chappie about this. I'm okay with that. My only comment on this, and this is that, that Rules Committee left such a bad taste in my mouth when I watched the video, that I transcribed it, and I got a transcript of what was going, because
For what?
when they had the meeting, I transcribed the meeting.
What
Right,
meeting?
but I'm saying what meeting, what was
This
the
was
topic?
on the 15th of March last year, it was on the Neighborhoods Commission. This is prior to the retreat and all that. So, you know, my feeling about that whole thing, that particular meeting, it was hostile. Okay, everybody, with the exception of Chappie, Rocha, Camus, Zuma, everybody, there was no fair, the only person that spoke up for us, for the Neighborhoods Commission, was Chappie, because he had been on the commission. And the outcome of that was that we're gonna go on
Who are the members?
the retreat, okay? And they talked about, they didn't know what we did, whether we had scope creep, mission creep, all this and that. And then they deferred to the retreat. So then we go on the retreat, which was similar to what I'd been to in other things. We had a different name from it than the environment that I was in. And we never got any feedback from that retreat. We put out suggestions and all that, and it was, you know, back and forth. And then the next thing I know, they make the recommendation to the council that they wanted to reduce the size and this and that, and appointed, not elected, and blah, blah, blah. So that all came out of that rules committee. So all I'm saying is, if we go to the rules committee, however we do it, we need to have our ducks in a row. We need to have a presentation, and what we're going to say needs to be there, and kind of, for want of a better word, you know, not whining or complaining, but making a statement, making what we want, what we need to do our job in an assertive, positive manner, not defensive, and really be prepared, because I'm sure we go in there, we're poking the bear. Okay?
Yeah, but if we go in as public comment, they won't be able to do anything. They won't even be able to respond.
Whatever.
So
Well, that's the point.
this will just be a shot across the bow is
But
all
that
we can
shot
really do.
needs to be
I agree, but yeah.
something that's prepared, and I'm assuming we would provide them a copy of that, what we,
I think we should tweak the letter to the mayor, make sure that has got everything we want in it, and use that as the vehicle,
period, just that.
period, yeah.
So for the next commission agenda, which is next week, there is no ICOC report on it because we pared down the agenda because Sharon's coming in and taking a whole bunch of the time, and because the bylaws were going to take a bunch of the time. So if y'all remember last meeting, that was decided. So there's only 4 items on it. One of them is an ad hoc committee report, which includes the ICOC. So this is something you guys could talk about as a part of that. You can't get their vote on it. Like I said, it cannot be agendized until May because we didn't get it in for April. But you can float the test balloon with the rest of the commission.
So the letter to the mayor and the recommendation to go to the rules committee can be talked about at our next
Next
commission
week.
meeting, but we cannot vote on it until May. We cannot get approval.
Yeah,
from
you
the
can't
next
get.
meeting.
So when you say we can't get approval till May, we could go, so basically the neighbors commission could say, no, don't send this off, don't want you going to the rules committee. And so then none of us would be able to show up and express that.
You can show up as an individual and say, I'm an individual who sits on this commission, on this committee. However, I want to make clear that we did bring this up with, you have to preface it with, I brought it up with the entire commission, and the entire commission has not voted, but I am speaking as a individual, not as a commissioner right
Concerned
now,
citizen.
Okay.
right? You could do that, but you can't discuss as if you're a commissioner.
So I'd have to just emphasize I, as a private citizen.
Yeah, and you can say, I as a private citizen who has more information about how the sales tax money is going in, am having a lot of conversations in my district, and people are very angry, and, express what you just said succinctly, because you'll have 2 minutes, but yeah. You can do that. But I would make sure to, because of the fact that you're on this committee, you have access to more information than the general public normally does, because you're a commissioner and you are therefore also talking to more residents than people normally do, you're going to have to preface it by saying, this is the discussion the committee had, the committee had, the commission did not approve it, however, I'm coming in as an individual, a concerned, whatever you just said, a concerned resident, and had to, whatever. You could do that, but you guys can't. If you do that before they have a vote on it, that might negate the need for having the vote in the first place. And
And
they
we
might
want-
get
we
a
want
little
a vote.
upset about you doing it without them, you know.
We
So-
want to vote, and the chances of the commission turning it down, I think, are zero.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to trust us. So,
I'd be willing to do that,
Do what?
to wait for the vote in May. But I would definitely like to, with that vote, that if you guys were able to, with your scheduling, for us to actually get to the rules committee and talk to them.
But you say we're only gonna have 2 minutes to present that?
This public comment, yeah. If you guys want this agendized as part of the rules committee, that
We
would
have
have to
fat
be
chance.
after that would be like in June.
yeah.
But we have like 12 minutes amongst all of us.
Yep.
Yeah,
If
2
we
minutes
did-
per
You all
person
do
to
it.
do it
If we did,
sequentially.
so we'd have to, once again, we'd have to have our.
Right.
That's
I'm
set
sure
up to do
you've
that.
seen that. I'm sure you've seen people stand up for do
Yeah.
public comment in which they're all building on each other.
Yeah.
In fact, you saw that in your own commission meeting.
We did.
Back in whatever that was, November, December, I don't remember. But,
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Move we
I
adjourn?
think Terry would like to adjourn.
Okay, so this discussion, item B, Baker, let's do the resolution.
We're gonna discuss it at the next week's meeting as part of our report. And
We're gonna agendize it.
yeah.
If we agendize
So
them.
for May,
On the OC.
Both. You need to
Yeah.
talk to the next week, you have to talk to the commission about agenda.
Cool.
It could happen that Sharon snaps her fingers and waves the magic wand and this whole thing.
Goes
Right,
away.
exactly. That's-
Well, or begins, has a set direction,
Yes.
has begun a movement that we feel confident is a go.
Right.
And then we don't have to do it, but,
Exactly.
You know.
That's my hope too, but
yeah, but we
Yeah.
should be prepared.
I agree.
And I really like the idea to go into rules, because it blows the box open in front of a lot of people that are important,
Exactly.
you know.
And I, like I said, I'm okay with that, but we need to be prepared. Because, like I said, but I just, there were the only guy there was Chappie, maybe Deb, I don't know, Deb hasn't had the experience with it, so.
I think we all should, we'll get a point across and I think we'll all be prepared. I think doubt about that.
Okay, do we have a summary or anything?
No.
anything that was-
You guys are done,
Surprised to one of them like
then
that.
you guys are done.
Beautiful.
Thank you all.
Dave was still alive.
Oh, yeah.